So right, Greg, if you start with your clap.
Okay.
Like, there we go. So, whatever take this is now. So this is to basically get everyone sat around the table from respective camps and stuff. And myself and Nat, we're kind of behind the scenes on Supreme Championships and putting the event together. And like I said before, Justin, I see him as a branch of the same tree. We've done fight camps together. We've trained together for years. I think I cornered your first fight, didn't I? It was me and Damo against that Italian guy.
It was on the Warrior Fight Series, wasn't it? Because that Spanish guy flew over. For the last thing you said was, don't stop hitting until the ref pulls you off.
Yeah, that's it.
what I did.
Yeah. And so then we got Queen Bee over there. What's that? Nod, yeah. And Greg Winter. So again, as we were saying, like Greg has kind of a foot in all sort of camps, really. You've trained a lot of the guys on the card. So to keep you impartial, we've kind of just stuck you in the commentary box.
Yeah, best place for me.
Yeah.
On the fence.
We mentioned before we started rolling about the Jake Lewis versus Adam Gladys.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's talking about straight away, like going on. Jake Lewis, he's one of our up and coming fighters.
Mini Jordan Miller.
The what? Sorry.
Mini Jordan Miller. Every time I train him, he's more and more like you. It's ridiculous.
And this is a good thing.
Oh yeah.
I think outside as well. We need to like. He just walks around all angry in a bad mood, like 90% of the time. So, but that's most fighters, isn't it?
I'm trying to think, how long I've been in here now? Quite a while, isn't it?
At least a year or so, isn't it?
18 months.
Yeah, and I think I can probably count on one hand the classes he's not been in my class. I think he does every class, Jay.
Yeah, he's always in my classes as well.
He's dedicated and he's very, very talented. I say he's talented, he's just a hard worker. He's just, it's like last night, I shared a comment, it's quite a complicated sort of footwork pattern, Bosh got it straight away, he's demoing it. And then at the end of the class, he's working with Jordan English, doing some...
You show him something once and he gets it. It's
No,
like
he doesn't. You say that, right? I've had times where I'm like, dude, do you know your left and right? Like, maybe I think it's right. It's the way I'm teaching it. Then I'm like scratching my head, like, no, I'm confused. I'm watching him do it. Like, I think I'm doing this wrong. Yeah. All right. Maybe you guys are right, and I'm.
Think back to that fight that he did, not the last one, the one before. You literally said to him exactly what to do, like move by move, and he went into that cage and did exactly the same thing, and that's it. Then submit him.
Oh God! And how great would it be if all of your fighters done that? Yeah. Because, like.
Well, this is the thing. He's the only one that really does listen.
Yeah, it's very much like Louis. Louis like that for us.
Yeah.
I think like last show, I think with the shoulder pumps to the head.
Yeah.
But you get some fighters, you give them precise advice. Say, if you do this, you'll win that fight. I've had so many fights. Across all styles, I had about 150 odd fights. I had my first fight when I was 12, I think. I'd been doing traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu for a year. I don't know if I've told you this story. So I was watching The Matrix. This is how I started doing martial. Well, I did karate before that. Well, you know your parents always make you do karate, judo or taekwondo. Yeah. And I hated it. And I was watching The Matrix and Neo's in the seat and he goes, jiu-jitsu, I'm learning jiu-jitsu. I'm like, I was 11 at the time, just turned 12, and I was like, I'll do jiu-jitsu. And then my dad had started working with this guy called Andy Walker, who had just opened up a club, and it was like, we were putting mats down in like a scout hall. It was nothing like The Matrix at all. And then fast forward, like it was not even a year, and Cole Sam's put on a show. It was Kings of the Square Ring at, it was at the Bic, I think. I'm pretty certain it was at the Bic. It's like, do you want to have a fight? I was like, yeah. Didn't know what I was doing, lied about my age, told him I was 15, and I got the shit kicked out of me by one of Phil Norman's guys. But I walked out and I was like, that was all right. Like, it wasn't that bad. When you get your head kicked in, it's like, I mean, it wasn't a bad kicking, but I got a bit of a slap round and I was a bit like, I'm all right. That was all right, yeah. And then it kind of went from there. And what was the tangent? What was the talking point? I went off on one. What was I talking about?
Just talking about you.
Yeah, me saying we can't have Mo Cardboard on because all he do is talk about himself.
Yeah, but then we were talking
like
about Jake, and we
hour.
did say that he's very similar to you, but you then just started talking about yourself.
I was coming back round.
No, it was because we were talking about how when they're younger, they just kind of like absorb it all and just take it all in and.
Yeah, and like listening and stuff. Yeah, I'd literally forgotten what point I was making. But now everyone knows about me. What's your background, Justin? Let's go down that route.
I don't know, I think I met you boys working the doors, didn't I, in Bournemouth?
Yeah, Seb brought you in.
Yeah. And then I think I took out some guy whacked someone in there, and I took him out, and the Dane was, "Oh, do you train?" I was like, "Not really." And he said, "Well, come down and train with me." So I think he just left Phoenix at the time. So we started training for about 6 months, just doing loads of weights and loads of wrestling.
And your trainers just turn up and fighting each other?
Yeah, just beating the crap out of each other every day for like a year straight. And then I think I got a fight against like Warrior Fight Series against some Spanish dude. He flew over. I think you called me with Damo, and I think I smashed him in the first round, and just went from there.
I remember you said it before. What was I said to you before the fight?
I think we were in the hallway, and you said, just keep smashing him in the face until the ref pulls you off. He has to save his life. And,
I was like,
and that's what happened.
Keep hitting him until he's dead.
And that's what happened.
Yeah, but you're quite respectful, like, especially with your fighters. The amount of times you pull rank with your fighters, and you're like, no, be respectful, don't say that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to be. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you want to get on the big shows, and as long as if you're cutting weight and doing your job properly, they can't really sort of argue with that. I think they're always going to want you back if you do all those. Obviously, if you've got to go there and start giving it large a bit, I mean, you've got to do what you got to do. And we ain't shy doing that.
I think I'm too much of a child. Do you remember when I talked my way into that fight with Chris Fishgold, and then I was talking so much shit. I had people messaging me on like Instagram and Facebook, like, "I'll fucking shoot you. You come up here, you're not leaving the fucking venue." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right." And I'm arguing with all the trolls, having a great time. And then I had the worst weight cut ever. And I said specifically to Nat, yeah, I was like, "I hate trains. I don't want to go on trains. I fucking hate trains. Do not go on a train. I want to drive up." "Oh, I booked a train." So we jumped on the train, left the station, so we're halfway between two stations. And do you remember, we later found out a double-decker bus it took a different route. It tried to go under a tunnel, and it just like, it wasn't small enough, and it basically hit it. Yeah. So we're stuck for like an hour and a half, just sat there. I'm like I've got like no weight to go. I'm like this, like a pound to go. And they're bringing refurbishments and refreshments around. "Oh, really sorry for the delay. Would you like 3 bottles of water and sandwiches and stuff?" And I'm just like, oh, kill me. Anyway, got there. So I've missed weight by like a fraction, and I had to walk all the way around. It was like a mile walk to this sauna, to sit in there for like 2 minutes, to then walk back. I'm like fucking dying, and then got like Chris Fishgold's like sat over there, and like you got Paddy Pimblett, and they're like just drinking away, like, "Yeah, cut weight, you prick." And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. And I'd been running my mouth, and I was saying, like, what I was trying to say was his fundamentals are amazing. Like when he's grappling, absolutely brilliant. I did this interview, and I talked for about an hour, surprise. And I think whoever put the interview out, I think they just kind of cherry picked little bits, and they said that I'd basically said his jiu-jitsu was basic. I didn't say basic, I said fundamental. Basic's an insult. Fundamental, I think, is a great compliment. And I was like, yeah, the only way he's going to get me is if I kind of fuck up and just put my head into a guillotine within like the first minute. That's exactly how the fight went. So that was when like the corner team was meant to come up. That was when Chris didn't come up. You'd book travel and everything, and he just wasn't there. Like worst everything. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. But you're a fighter, you get in your fight. And I'm like, all right, cool. Pull Bradley Scott over. "Brad, can you corner?" He's like, yeah, cool. And so then we've come out. And it's other things as well. Chris threw a punch, and I went, and I kind of slipped, and I remember it kind of skimming, but he used that picture as his profile picture, and I remember that shot missing. I kind of, but it just looks like he's nailed me with the most perfect right hand, and I'm like, oh man. Like, so basically, I talked absolute shit coming up to the fight. He had this amazing profile picture that just looked great. The one way I said he would beat me is exactly how it went. And then I had to like walk out the arena, and everyone's like, "You fucking wanker." And I'm like, yeah, like, yeah. As it is, we get on really well. And he's actually a really, really nice guy, and we chat occasionally on Instagram and everything. And he's like, yeah, you know, he's actually offered to come down and like do some seminars here, which obviously we're doing the expansion now, but it'd be nice to do. But so yeah, that's the downside of like running your mouth off. If you do, you have to back it up, which I didn't. You're definitely that. And yeah, but anyway, going back around the table. So Greg, who are you?
I'm Greg Winter. I'm an alcoholic now. No joking. Yeah, I started off in like Natalie with kickboxing under Matty Turner and Phil Norman. Did that for years. Always wanted to fight, but I only really did it to lose a bit of weight. Asked me to fight. I said, no, I don't know, I might do, see how it goes. About a year later, I did a few interclubs. And then he goes, well, I got you a fight 3 weeks in Exeter. You need to be ready. I said, well, I feel pretty fit. He goes, no, this is what you got to do. And no messing around, get up at 5, go to the gym, train for an hour, then get an hour my scaffolder, so I was getting scaffolding all day. And then going straight home, having some of the week training again. And that was literally my life for years. And even when I wasn't fighting, I'd be in the gym in the mornings helping the lads who were fighting. And I think if you're gonna put yourself up to fight and get punched in the face in front of hundreds of people, you got to get ready. And one way I don't want to lose is cardio. There's no way I'm losing a fight to having shit cardio. So if I get knocked out, I get knocked out. But I want to make a good thing of myself. So I did that for quite a few years. Had a real shit injury, fighting for a British title. Wrecked my foot. So I was married, 3 kids, big mortgage, and off work for 10 weeks. No help from the government, suffice the fucking prize. So I better quit fighting. So I found that really hard to deal with for about 10 years before, funny enough. But then I got into coaching quite quick. So I've been coaching for probably 20 years now, I would say. I was the first coach. I had my own kickboxing club for years, Dorset Kickboxing. Quick plug for that, but it's long gone now. And
I remember it.
Yeah, people remember it. Some badass fighters, isn't it? Yeah, so
it's like Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it was literally. Yeah, and funny enough, it's like Cobra Kai. When I was at the airport, off track, Kane Charig was there, bless him, and he goes, "Oh, I reckon we should fucking just dress up as Cobra Kai, right?" We went online. You can buy the gis, with the shirtless gis. And we're all going to walk in the airport with our black belts on and that. And then we're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Well, me and Kane were crying. Craig Gimpson as well. He's another legend. Yeah. So I just did that for a while, and then I ended up getting a call going to the Phoenix. That's where I think I met you before anyway, way before. But I met Jordan. You were an active fighter back then as well, and we were. I remember cornering you for a K1 fight. I can't remember the guy you fought, and he broke his foot, didn't you? He won, but he broke his foot.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And he didn't realise he broke it.
No,
he won,
I won,
but he broke his foot
happened.
in the meantime. And comes out of the ring, he's like, "Great, I fucking broke my foot." I was like, "It'd be all right, it's probably not broke, he probably just sprained it." And then he came out on the piss after. Yeah, right, yeah. So I walked down through Bournemouth, and he's on my back, and I'm literally
it was like, have you seen Thunderdome? You know, he's got that big dude.
Yeah,
he's got that thing on his back. That was me. I was the thing, wasn't I?
I just walked around him, and there's these guys walking up the road, and he's like pissed off. He's like, "Look at these fucking idiots! Like, you peasants! I've got an eagle to carry me. You got to walk, you fucking idiots!"
Thing is, though, I kept forgetting, and I would jump off his back and just hit the deck like, huh, huh, and I'm like, pick me up, because it was all fucked up.
Yeah.
By the time I'd been like basically shit-faced and jumping around and reenacting my fight to everybody, my foot was like an elephant's knee by the next morning. I think I just stayed in bed for like the whole day.
It was quite funny because I was there, and you're the actual reason I left. I don't know if you remember this. I was at the Phoenix for a while, and then because I had my own club as well at the same time. And then Geordie goes, you were primitive at the time, weren't you?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
said,
I was just teaching a class.
Yeah,
there,
I've got a
some
little
time.
match space. You're welcome to use it for free. You take your money from your lads, and all I ask is if my lads can train for you for free. I was like, "Oh yeah, amazing, perfect." I better tell them. And then I literally said, "You're gonna have to leave then." I was like, "Oh,
Wait, who said you got to leave?
I'm not saying." But so I left, and then I didn't do anything with MMA. I think for about a year, I was just kickboxing all the time, and then Jeff Lawson contacted me, and I was at the Ippon for about 5 years, I think. Yeah, he did.
Told me, just jump in. I pretty much learned everything kind of on the job. So a lot of my frustration comes from like training fighters. Is we've all got like the finished blueprint. Like, just trust me, do it like this, it works. I learned about like knees to the head whilst taking them in a fight because I didn't know what the rules were, you know. And pretty much first time I saw like an actual armbar was when I fought Jeff Lawson. Obviously, I'd been set up by Carl Sams to build this guy's record. I didn't know, because I would fight anyone like, yeah, I'll get in there. And I remember I caught him with a left hook and he kind of went down. Might have been a slip, might have been a clean shot, I don't really know. It's probably on a VHS somewhere. Anyway, he's gone down. I'm like, yes. So I've gone down to follow him. In my head, I'm like, oh, ground and pound, yeah, I'm going to get him. But I just basically threw myself in Jeff Lawson's guard and just went, yeah, have my arm, like that. And he was like an anaconda wrapping it up. I didn't really know what an armbar was at that point. But I didn't know my arm was like about to break, and the referees like just called it off, didn't tap or anything. He's just stopped it. And at the time, I'm like, motherfucker, like, oh, this ref robbed me of the fight and blah blah blah. Now a little bit older, looking back, I don't know who the ref was, but I probably need to shake his hand because like my arm was probably going to get ripped off.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
I was at there. I think I was there about 5 years. I think. And Jeff's one of the nicest guys I've met in the sport. To be fair, Jeff's wicked. And then I trained Molly McCann there and stuff. Cornered all her first probably 10 fights, and then I left there to go back to Phoenix. Funny enough, because I was training Nathan Johnson for a bit, and then that's when I met.
Did you get an apology before you went back?
Yeah. No. And that's where I met Justin. Obviously, I met Damo from the first time I was there because I used to corner a lot of Damo's fights. He's a funny little bastard. We've had some right laughs over the years.
I would love it if Damo fought again. I don't know, like, so you train with him pretty much on a daily basis.
And he's definitely still got it. You know what I mean? He's unbelievable in the gym.
It's like at Cage Wise, I was wrapping hands on the Cage Wise. It was in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And his fight, I couldn't get to see it, so I had to watch it on the screen. And all the fighters in the back, and I was done.
Against Cameron Ellis.
Yeah, he's always done. I went out, like, don't write him off, mate. I said, he might come out the second round. Yeah. No, I think he's done. I went, anyone else? I say, yeah. I said, but I think he'd be all right. And he come out and fucking knocked him out. I was like, yeah, he's a great fighter. I have a lot of respect for him. Yeah, and then I left there quite recently, about a year, 18 months ago, and I come here.
I was going to say, to go back, the thing with Damo is like we all get nerves before fights, and it's like a big thing, and people try and pretend that they don't have them.
Yeah, he's like the opposite.
Oh my God, right. When I'm going out to a fight, I'm shitting my pants. I deal with it, you know, I'm a fucking man. I acknowledge that I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's not going to stop me doing it, but I'm going to fucking do it. Damo's the only person that I've seen that is genuinely happy. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to fucking hurt someone.
He's pacing up and down.
He is.
He's itching for his
Yeah, but it's like, it's not, I see it as like, it's like a very technical game of chess. I love fighting. It's like, my brain is so switched on when I'm doing it. I genuinely think Damo just sees it as like, I can hurt this man, I'm not going to get arrested.
When he's to walk to the cage or the ring with him, you'd almost jog him behind him.
He's like, do you know what he's like? He's like Melvin Manhoef. You've literally got to have Damo on a lead.
I remember coaches moaning about him, saying he's burning too much energy doing this. I was like, he's not, he's getting ready. This is him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is Damo, this is what he's like.
I got a lot of respect for Damo because when he was little, obviously, not many people know he's born with club feet.
He did.
And they told him, the doctors wrote him off, he'll never be able to play any sports, and then he ended up having a good career in mixed martial arts, so you could get any harder sport than that.
He's still training now, do you mean brown belt and jiu-jitsu? He's still the best man in the gym every time. I mean.
Do you know what? He is one of the, I'm always like pulling quotes and stuff and things from other people and like throwing at my guys, and I always credit Damo this. He said it in passing once. We were just talking about fighting, and I was actually talking to him about like, he's just relentless, just keeps going and going and going. And I always say to my guys, I'm like, look, you know, you sometimes don't understand that you might be in a cage with someone that's just doing it for the Instagram picture, you have a little punch up, cool like that. And I bring some like Damo up as an example, or you. Like, you don't plan for a 3-round fight. In your head, it's like, it's not even 1 round. In your head, they're getting out of it like quick. And I'm like, you're gonna face a Damo one day who isn't there for any other reason than to hurt a person, and you're gonna get locked in, bam, with someone like that. And that's scary. So it's like, you better sort your shit out before and get ready to actually fight and train properly. But the quote I love that he came out from, like I said, it was just a passing comment. We were talking about your condition and everything, and he went, we're all fucking knackered. He said, we're all tired. He said, but it's who can go furthest on empty. Is that not every fight you've ever been in? You can do 10 rounds here, you do 1 round in a fight, you have that adrenaline dump, and you're fucked. We are all on empty, but it's who can go furthest.
That's what's hard to tell the boys now, do you know what I mean? And I remember when we started the gorilla thing, and then obviously I got Damo involved in the coaching. And he's turned into a brilliant coach as well, Damo. So good having him involved. And when he started sparring the boys couldn't believe. So I'm not bigger than a lot of our lads, so it's hard for me to spar them because we've got to bring the power right down.
But then it's just attributed to your strength. Oh, of course he's going to win, he's bigger.
Yeah, so obviously seeing Damo spar, because I'm like, well, I tell you, we've got Damo coming in now, so let's spar him and see how it is. And they're all of them like blown. I remember Ross saying about it yesterday. He said the first time he sparred him, he said he just came forward for a big overhand right, picked him up, put him on.
He's like Clay Guida. Yeah, he's a Clay Guida. Yeah,
that's a good analogy.
He's got a good fight IQ as well. I mean, people think Damo's just a brute, but he's not. He's so clever with what he's doing as well. He knows how to fight. And I'm watching him coach as well. It's the years of experience, just seeing that come out now. Yeah. It's good to watch. So, no, I'm proud of him.
But then moving along.
I'll quickly say this. I was training for a fight, and I had a really bad. I had a nerve in my neck at work, and I was about 3 or 4 months to get my power back. And I thought, he said, you might not even get your right hand power ever back again. And I was sparring this guy down the Bulldog from Exeter, and I literally starched him with the right hand. And he was like laying in the recovery position. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, I'm at a fight show, and he said, take your bag, but you're going to be at Matty Turner. Big up Matty Turner. He said, take your bag and your gum shield, because you might get a fight, but if not, you judge him. I said, oh, okay. So I've gone down there, I'm still at the bar with my bloody kit on and that. And then this woman goes, oh, my husband's supposed to fight, but his bloke's just pulled out on the day. I can't believe it. I said, what's your weight? He's 87. I said, I'm 86. I said, I'll fight him. And she went, oh, amazing, I'll go get him. She ran out. She goes, oh, I got this bloke, he'll fight you. And he's come out. It's the bloke that I started 2 weeks before. He went, I ain't fighting him. That's the one I was on about. Knocked me out. Anyway, on that same night was Natalie's first ever fight, and I judged it. And
do you remember what her fight name was at the time?
Oh, do shut up. No.
Oh, come on.
No,
I don't think you know this. You don't know this.
No.
Come on, what was it, Nat?
what was it? I probably will remember if you say.
Because it was like, what, 2002, 2003?
Yeah, it's got to be, yeah. 2003, I reckon.
Just a different colour hair.
But I didn't know what I was doing, and it was a blonde warrior.
That was it, yeah. And I remember getting up to you straight after the fight and said, oh, that was the best fight of the night. I think you'll be a champion one day, and we'll hand that over to you, Nat.
Yeah, I was like 55 kilos. That was, well, I like to think most people know who I am, but I started kickboxing with James Cowan.
Yeah.
It just started as a hobby, and then it just became an obsession, really. It was just like, just started training like a couple of times a week, and then it goes from once a week to 5 times a week. And then they're like, oh, do you want to do your gradings? Oh, go on then. And then, oh, do you want to fight? Oh, go on then. It always like starts like that. But I did take it quite seriously straight away. Yeah. Like, I was out there running straight away, because like the first thing he said to me is, you need to lose 5 kilos. I'm like, what? Yeah. I don't know how to lose weight. And I remember I was a member of Fitness First, and Mo worked there, and he was like a little bit of he was the world champion of Bournemouth at that time. He was like the big kickboxer. Yeah. And he came up to me, he was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm cutting weight. I'm sat there with some soup. He's like, oh. He just huffed and just walked off. And I was like, oh. And so I was trying to lose like 5 kilos just running. But it was you're weighing on the day and you fight, and that was it. And I was fit because I was just running every day. And it just went from there, really. And I think it was like my third fight I had. I was thrown into the walls to kind of against the UK number 1, and I was not even ranked. And I beat her. I like to say I smashed her, like she dropped her 3 times and became British champion. And then the rest was just like, whew, here's Julie Kitchen, here's this, here's that. And it went from there, really.
It's a shame, I've always said, like, in the nicest possible way, it's a shame you weren't 10 years younger or women's MMA 10 years further ahead than where it is.
Yeah, it was weird because like, I went, obviously, from James Cowan, I went to then Mo. Because wasn't Mo? You said like Mo was one of your biggest motivational points. Oh, completely.
But mainly because he said, "Oh, I've never trained a woman." I never got
exactly,
trained
no,
girl.
it's exactly what he said
I
to
mean,
me.
he didn't sound like Mr. T, but, you know.
My first interaction with him, he was a bit like, and just kind of like...
I'm not cardboard.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
train
it.
no girls.
That was that. And then, you watch that a film, $1 Million Baby, and like, she goes in there, she's that girl that's in the corner and just keeps training, keeps skipping, keeps saying. I kept coming to his Saturday class, getting beaten up, and then going home.
She's
and
back
he's
again.
like, oh, she's back again. And it was just like that. And then I said to him, like, oh, will you train me? And he's like, but you're a girl. Literally like that. And and then he was very, very...
That's not how he said it, man. You're a girl.
But he's always been very complimentary
No
afterwards. So,
statements.
because he taught me a lot mentally. He was such a good coach, and the fact that, I don't know, just his mental approach to fighting was just incredible.
He's very smart. He's
Yeah.
so smart. He does the bare minimum, and I mean that in a very complimentary way. Like, he doesn't do more than he needs to. Even when he moves, you'll never, like, when someone throws a shot and they go like that, it's like they're dabbing to, like, slip a shot and there's a foot between the arm. Mo's like...
The way he obviously fights, no one can mimic that. Yeah, that's just Mo's style. And he did try and teach me it to an element, but I like to block my face too much. But then from him, I went to John Orchard, which was at Bulldog, and then I was under the management of like Cole Sams and stuff. So I did majority of my like world titles there, and then I remember when I finished my kickboxing career, actually. Carl turned around and said to me, he's like, do you want to do some pro wrestling? Don't tell Paul. Now Paul Field's going to know this. I was like, what? No. But I should have probably at that point thought about, no, maybe not
Was
that.
it in a
but
basement with a mask on?
Nothing,
carry
I don't
on.
know. It's just, he goes like, you can make a career. I think he was just thinking of like, you can make a career. You know how to fight, and look at what Ronda Rousey's done. It's like that. But I did actually go to a few of Jeff's classes and did a bit of MMA before I met you as well. So,
do you always find or did you find, because of who you were, in your field, you're like, you go all the way up there, you can't just jump across into something else without having a massive target on your back. It's like no matter what you try and do, it's like, let's say you go and play football, it's like all of a sudden, it's like, oh, there's that Justin, that cage fighter, and then it's like, you can't just ease yourself into anything. There's always that pressure, like if you hit any sort of level, no matter what you do, you gotta at least be really good at it.
When we were talking earlier, like when you're at the top, you have got to be the best. You have got to stay there, and everything you do. I always say, it's like life's a competition. Everything's a competition, and everything we do, we always find that we're competing.
When you tell about that run where you just abandoned me, just like we were doing this 10K. What's that 10K run?
Bay run.
The Bay run. I hate running, and so we're getting ready for the run. Just before, just put that out there, she did squat behind a car to take a piss, and then we did our 10K run, and there's all these markers as you go along, and as we're running along, the kilometre markers suddenly changed to miles, and I didn't think anything of it. And I'm running, and in my head, I'm like, right, I want to fucking win this. And you got all these like fat keep fitters and stuff. It's like that only exercise of the year, and I'm going to win. So I'm like overtaking everyone, getting to the marker. I'm like, where's Nat? And it was like the hare and the tortoise, and she comes back up like that, gets to the next marker. Well, she's like slow and steady, wins the race. I'm like, fuck everybody. I'm emptying the tank straight away. And the marks had changed, and then somewhere along the line, we realised that at the point where someone was meant to be standing like a steward directing, 10K that way, half marathon that way, they like fucked off they went for like a toilet break or something. So it was like the first, like the 30 people that were like at the front all joined the half marathon. So everyone else has gone, right, we've gone, bing, these idiots come back, like, oh, I've got to go that way. Of course, we've already gone. So I'm pissed off anyway, because I'm like, for fuck's sake, I don't know how far we ran in the end. It was a lot more than 10K. Because eventually it then came back into kilometres. I'm like, I know I've done more than 6K at this point. But we got to this bit going downhill, and I didn't want to run downhill because I'm like, oh, that's bad for my knees. So I'm just like plodding, Nat just fucking tears past me, full sprint, running downhill. I'm going to overtake like that. Get to the checkpoint, I'm thinking like, she'll be waiting for me. I'm like, where the fuck is Nat? And I look in the distance and she's just gone. I'm like, you fucking bitch. Like, I waited for you every single time. Of course, now I'm really tired. My gas tank's empty because I've been sprinting my bollocks off trying to get in front, and it was just total demotivation when we hit the half marathon. So I'm trying to get her, and I'm like, I was so angry. I was so pissed off at you. And then just to top it all off, as we then kind of got to like the last kilometre, I remember there was these two ginormous women that had all the gear, like bands and everything, were just plodding along. We'd overtaken them like an hour before, and now they're in front of us because obviously we'd got directed the wrong way. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that was lovely." And I was just like, ugh. I was so annoyed. It was, and then come the following year, do you want to do that? Do you want to do the Bay Run? I'm like, fuck off. No, I was done. But yeah, she stage competitive is an understatement. To the point we can't even. Do you remember at Fitness First? We couldn't even go on a treadmill next to each other because it would turn into a race.
You know, when you were talking about like, you know, your training, like you were like always the fittest. That's what I used to always pride myself in, is that I was always the fittest person in that ring or the cage or whatever. So, you know, and I try and tell everybody now, and you know, you get the likes of like Tyler, like, I don't do running, and I'm like, well, you know, I prefer to go in there fit as fuck with my head clear. Concentrating on what's in front of me rather than going, oh my God, I'm fucking tired. I
remember you making this one run out the shutters there to puke in the car park.
Mate, every Saturday morning.
I put fitness above everything else, you know, because everything else can be taught when you are fit. You know? So.
Yeah, well, funny what you were saying when you were drinking soup, trying to cut weight.
It was noodle soup.
So Matty said I got
100 calories.
trying to match my brother Lee, and couldn't get us a fight anywhere. And because the guy that Lee beat the shit out of, his coach, seeing him, wouldn't match him against this other guy. And then the lad that I beat the shit out of, his coach wouldn't match. So we had to swap fighters. I'm a couple of weight cracks above Lee. So I was 87, walk around, didn't understand anything about weight cutting back then. So 2003, 2004. And he said, literally, you got to get down to 81. I'm fucking 6'5". I ain't getting 6'4.5". Everything shrinks of age, and well, not everything. Sorry, that's basically my boxing classes here. Big jokes, and so I thought, okay, I don't know I had no input from anyone how to cut weight. So I thought the best way to cut weight is to eat nothing all day at work except for wine gums. Right. Apparently that doesn't work. So it did work a little bit. I got down to about 85, and then Nat's brother was putting weight on. So he was fighting 88 and a half, and he was like 81. I said, this is fucking mad. Why don't you just fight him and I'll fight stop being a pussy, just fight us. So on the day it changed, like literally 2 hours before, he was like, you're fighting this guy now. And it was the only time I think I've got in the ring and thought I'm going to win. Because everyone else is like this big steroid abusers and massive, and he was just like this little dumpy sort of guy. He was a bit heavier than me, and I remember I felt really good. I had a really good, I say really good weight cut, didn't cut weight. I cut about 2 pounds. I had a really good camp there. It was probably the best camp I've had. And but I was like night before we were trying to find a sauna, and then we didn't know anywhere to get. So I had to get splashdown. And we paid £6 to get in. I thought, I'm getting on the rise now, £6. So I'm fucking.
Have a sauna in there.
Yeah. So I'm fucking flying down there, like kick Lee in the face. He's kicked me in the ribs. I'm going to fight him, all right? I'm fucking idiots. And then so I ended up fighting. Lee fought the fight before me, so it was a bit pissy, so I couldn't watch it. But he literally beat the shit. I've never seen a guy when I watched the video after. A guy takes so many punches and kicks to the head and not go down. We could hear him for about an hour after throwing up in the toilet. It's like a concussion. Anyway, I've gone in after him, and you'll remember this. I've gone in, there's this little guy, and he's done like a spinning, fucking jumping kick. I went, fucking hell, he looks pretty good. And what's his name? Matty goes, you're all right. You know, don't worry about that spinning shit, you'll be all right. And he said, I haven't told you this yet. He said, but when he used to spar John Orchard, when he was training for his world title, and he sparred us all, he said he's the best one. Like he said, I thought he'd say your brother or Dave Hyde or something. He goes, no, it's Igor. He's a fucking big awkward bastard, and he hits well hard. So I was like, all like proper. I went in there, and the best I've ever felt. Talk about feeling fit. I come in, he hit me with like this shitty roundhouse kick, and I watched the DVD. I was like, it looks like nothing. Fuck it, hurt. Like I was like, oh my God, you're not even going to land one more kick. I'm just going to punch your head in. So I literally just started like punching him. I threw like a couple of kicks just to look good. And then I got him on the ropes and I was all over him and I thought, oh, he's going to go, but I don't want to gas out. and I could hear everyone going, just keep going. And I was like, I had this little thing in the back of my head, I'll just back off a little bit. What the fuck are you doing? Keep going. I was like, I got another fucking cut around.
You do get that though. Like there's times where like you said about like that kick looked like nothing. How many times have you, like I've had times where I've loaded up a shot, bam, and they've gone, oh, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and there's a moment of, fuck, he's still up. There's other times I've just repositioned, I've thrown a jab to just move, and the guy's hit the deck, and I'm like, yeah, like I meant to do it, and I'm like,
I don't think I've ever knocked anyone out with anything hard. It's always been like I flick my leg up at their head. I mean, you cut my leg off and throw it your head, you're probably going to get knocked out. Your legs are heavy, but you just flick your leg up, and you're like, that's what I try and when I'm teaching like guys. They're trying to head kick people, and they're trying to like skip it in and throw. I said, well, just fucking throw your leg up. Just flick it up. It's your leg. You just touch their temple, they're going to sleep. But that was the same night that second round, I landed a couple of good combos, and I literally just, funny enough, I did the same drill last night. Just got off the train tracks, little short right hand. It felt like that, didn't feel that bad. It was just like a quick right hand. And as soon as I landed it, it was the weirdest feeling. As soon as I hit him, I went, yeah, you're not getting up. Ever. Just walked off, and I just felt like his whole energy just go up my arm. It was fucking weird. I walked back, and he was like Apollo Creed in him.
You've got a weird power there. You're like that long guy, but you throw short shots really well, and everyone goes, oh, I get on the inside. And I've seen so many of your fights, you've just gone, and you've kind of give someone a little tap. Do you remember that guy, was it the little down, the one where you...
I hit him, and I literally Apollo Creed in him. He was like twitching on the floor, and I was like, I filmed on, I was like, he's dead. And I was like, fuck off, mate. So I'm stood there, and everyone's cheering. All my mates are like going spazzy, and I'm like,
All right, I was there for that, and we were all like, yeah, like that. I didn't know at the time. I just saw one guy knock another guy the fuck out. Right? There's knockouts, then there's like curled toes and like that. I hope the guy's all right now, but like he just went down like a plank.
Yeah, he's right. I've seen him about 3 years later.
He didn't fucking move, and everyone's like, yeah, you're jumping around, I won, and everyone's like, yeah, you killed him. Fast forward 2 minutes, the medics are there with the fucking gas mask, and everyone's like, Greg.
Next week he's got a neck brace on, full body brace on.
But it was the way, it was like, yeah, you killed him.
45 minutes, wasn't it, the show was started.
Yeah. Justin nearly got his first kill the other day, didn't you?
Oh, in the gym, yeah. I trained, I think Rolf, he's, come on, how to say this? He come down to the gym.
As long as you don't say a name, I think it's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. But he come down the gym, wanted to jump in. He said he'd obviously done a bit before. I don't think he had.
Did he sign a waiver?
He did a couple of, no. It was an open mat, he just sort of turned up. And he rolled with a couple of the lads, and I think one of the young lads, Spike, I think he choked him out a couple of times. But clearly he doesn't know when to tap and when not to. And then after he looked fine.
4 minutes later, a rear naked choke.
He's left the gym, and one of the guys who running the weight side, they've come in saying, Chuck, there's one of your guys just left, just come running saying, call you. And he was on the floor, obviously dying. And then we called an ambulance, and then we got the defibrillator. God, I don't have a clue how to use it. I wanted to use it because it looks pretty cool to use. And then the lad I was with, he pulled a pair of scissors out and just started cutting his t-shirt out in like full casualty mode. And then we put the pads on him, and then it said start CPR, so we were doing that for about 20 minutes. And then then the ambulance took him off.
Was he like gone?
No, he was all right, but he was just, his hands were all curled up. He was telling me...
He probably would have died if he didn't have the defibrillator.
That's what they said. They said, well, if he didn't...
Did you have to shock him then?
No, I wanted to, but they wouldn't let us. They said not to, so just do the CPR, so... But I wanted to go to your one. Didn't you do a bit of CPR for a while, but he was already gone?
I told him you got one under your belt as well.
Sure, actually 1-0 up.
Huh?
They want to bring that up.
Hers didn't come back. Yeah.
Yeah, but he'd had a triple bypass. He shouldn't have been doing classes, and it was just a fitness first.
But did you carry on doing CPR on him?
So basically, I was just like walking past the top of the gym, and he'd come out, and my colleague at the time, she'd already was kind of like found him. And I was like, what's going on? He's collapsed. He's holding his heart. Blah, blah, blah. We'd cut his top off and seen that he'd obviously had the scars and stuff. And then someone else knew him, and he's like, oh yeah, he's just recently had open heart surgery. And we're like, brilliant, who let him in the class, sort of thing. And it was a weird one because you are doing like CPR and stuff, but we kind of like saw him take his last breath. But me and my colleague like looked at each other going, "What do we do?" And it took the ambulance like 45 minutes to get there at the time, but we were just like, "Look, we can't stop."
Yeah.
But we kind of knew, and even when the ambulance crew came along, and they just said, "Look, just keep going. We know." And it was like, "Fuck." But yeah.
Well, isn't there like there's something like a 6% chance or something? I'm probably butchering this stat, but
I don't think it's even that. I think it's less than that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it was one of those ones. Like, he was the fact that he'd gone into, because you're not meant to do things overhead. It's 18 months after having any kind of like heart surgery, and he'd gone in like 6 months, and it was just Yeah,
because I had a fight in London, and I went up there. I was really pissed off actually. 'Cause I looked at him and I ended up watching the fight, and I thought, I can easily beat him. Every time I got the fight, it was always monsters. It was always tough fights, and then I weighed in, bang on, everything was spot on. Went for the doctors. The fight before that, I was in Bournemouth, and they said, you got a heart murmur. I went, well, I've never been told, no.
What, you?
Yeah. He said, it's quite a bad one. I went, okay. Oh, yeah, you're right, you can fight. Oh, okay, all right. So I fought, and then it was before my first fight. It was a Norwich City player died on the pitch. He's had a massive heart attack, and he had a heart murmur apparently. So I went up to fight, and he goes, "Oh, you got a heart murmur?" And yeah, and he found that out a couple of months ago. He goes, "Yeah, you can't fight, mate." So I couldn't fight for nearly a year. I had to have all these cardiology tests and everything just to be told, yeah, it's fine, you can fight again. So I take it like a little doctor's note of me. I can punch people for
You get like that white coat syndrome the moment you
No,
see.
it's because I drank like 4 cans of Red Bull just before, but we didn't know that at
But
the time.
also, that as soon as you put a thingy on, you're kind of...
Yeah, but that's because like I said, I had my first fight when I was 12. I would just turn up to events. I once had, it was something stupid like 5 fights in 2 weekends. I was... I know. I did like
5 fights in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I did like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday at different shows, and then the following week I did like 2 fights on the same night on the Saturday. It was all like different styles. This is the thing that people don't understand now, fighters of today. Like we've built up this world. It was like the Wild West. I would turn up to an event. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. Didn't know what weights were, and I would just wait for them to give me the gloves. If they're big gloves, I'm like, all right, so we're doing some kind of striking. If I went out and the guy had shoes on, I'm like, we're boxing. I'm like, all right, cool. If they had shiny trousers, I was like, we're kickboxing now.
You know, there's nothing wrong with the shiny trousers.
I then learnt what Thai boxing was because I watched Kickboxer, and I was like, tongue poke. I remember I tried going out for a Thai fight once, and I was like, got hit in the face loads. I was like, this ain't working. Like, I took a few rib kicks, like, ah. So I went back to like, not being an idiot. And so, yeah, it was just kind of like learning on the job. And with the MMA, I did so many MMA fights, and it's like there was no one was really recording fights and stuff. Footage would disappear. It would disappear if you beat the homeboy. There were so many fights, like I'd beat the piss out of someone, and it was just erased. And
that's the thing. There's no YouTube or anything.
No,
was there?
whereas now it's like they've got every resource that there is. I don't want to sound like a moaning old person, but like I say to everyone, like there's nothing you can't find on YouTube. How do I wake up? YouTube, Google,
It's
Reddit.
almost a problem
like,
as well. I find it a bit of a problem. So you offer like your young lads a fight, and they'll just go online searching for every.
Oh my God, I never knew who I was fighting.
They want to know what they have for
It's like,
breakfast.
it's don't always well like that. I mean, I remember when I fought over in Ireland in Bellator, then I lost the fight, pissed off about that. Because it was more like light heavyweight, was huge. And then I found out of the cage, I was fuming, not a mark on me. I got Max to phone you straight away to get just on the fight next weekend.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The camp I'd put in, and it didn't go to plan. I was like, right, I need to burn this energy. So I phoned you, and then you got me a fight the next week, and then he pulled out on the night as well. So I ended up fighting I think I had to choose between George Taylor and the other monster.
Me and Nat had to have that discussion because we were just dealing. That was when it was at the BIC before like the pandemic, and we were literally hours away from like Justin's fight, and Nat came up like.
He got me a good opponent.
Like,
that was from Newcastle. I think it was
It was Gary Andrews, but he was...
No. He stepped in because you ran over because whoever it was had pulled out.
Yeah,
and
but he couldn't tell. It was like a legitimate reason, and he was like really apologetic.
It doesn't matter what the reason was. He wasn't turning up. That was it.
He wasn't there. That wasn't the point.
Shit.
And we were like, fuck.
Yeah, but then it was a case of like, right, someone needs to fight him. And fair play to Gary, he came out for a fight.
But
But
he was
like,
the kind, he's the kind of guy.
Think about George Taylor. George Taylor was 140 kilos.
Yeah, but even George goes, fuck.
But like
that.
guys like
He went,
that,
"I'll box
they
him."
always have their gum shield with them and a box, and they were just like, they just fight. But he done a little bit of grappling before, but he was like mainly a stand-up. He'd done like,
some Thai fights as well, and he said.
Yeah,
But you know what? On that note of like journeymen and stuff, people like that get heavily criticised, but shows wouldn't work without them. We're not UFC where we have 500 fighters on our roster where we can pull people out and have an unlimited budget. The amount of times you've been to a show and it's like someone needs to save the day. If you've got a pinnacle fight or something, one injury and it can fall apart. And injuries happen all the time.
I was at a show, I won't name the show, it's a bit obvious, but there was like, fucking hell, 7 pullouts or something on the day. And there's this I think you ended up fighting one of them. There was a bunch of lads, I think they're from Birmingham.
Yeah, they come down.
Gamers, but they're all boxers, but never done MMA in their life.
He jumped in. I remember looking at him, and I could tell he was shitting himself. Do you know what I mean? He was like, "What am I doing?" I went at him, threw one shot, picked him up, slammed him, and he just takes.
He's a real gentle
Yeah, I think I finished in about 30 seconds. But after, it's like, "Where did you come from?" Because my guy pulled out, and so we would just come down, me and my mates.
Yeah, they were monsters.
Scrap.
It is a hard one though, because like, say, as the fighter, you have to fight whoever's there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you catch a lot of criticism. It's like, I can only fight who's there.
Yeah, exactly.
But on the flip side of that, you then get, and this is most of our own fighters. Oh, you're fighting this guy. And they look up on YouTube, look at me on Instagram. Oh, I can't fight him.
And the
He went
problem is,
southpaw
it's
once.
like
He
what
threw a
you've got
kick
here.
in one fight. I can't fight him.
It's the Instagram age. I mean, everyone wants to look good. Do you know what I mean? And taking a loss, losing's good. Like, losing's good. I mean, it helps you build you. I mean, you learn from that. A lot of these guys now, they don't want to do that because they're afraid of what the reaction from everyone else. Oh shit! Do you know what I mean? But it's not. They're the ones getting in there doing it. Do you know what I mean?
And the thing is, well, like, fighting is a very lonely sport. And I like there was a line from the film Gladiator where what's his face? The Emperor's sister, I forget her name anyway. She's talking to like Maximus, and he's like going, "Oh, it's just the mob," you know. And she said, "You don't get it. The mob is Rome." And I think that's the same with today's sports. 90% of the people in the crowd, they don't have a fucking clue what they're looking at. But then there's the pressure on the fighter because all of their friends, they're there to see them. They're too pissed to even see the cage or the ring. They're probably looking the other way. All they know is whether you won or they lost, and they don't care. But that kind of feeds into that state where people really try to cherry pick their fights. There's one thing trying to look after your career, and you have to be careful looking after your career. And there's another thing, just basically beating up cans for every single fight because you want to look good in front of your mates that haven't got a clue what you're looking at. But I mean, I think to kind of lead on to our like list of fights here, we really try to match fights as best we can. We've had a few fights where we're like, oh shit, man, like, we've had to save the day, and we're like, we can't do that. And now we're at a point where if a fight's too, we're like, we'd rather pull it than...
You've got to have, like, you have obviously your ticket sellers and stuff, and if something awful happens, like their opponent does pull out, we have had to, you know...
But that's what I'm saying, we've had those fights and we're like, we can't really, like, it doesn't look good for the show, and it's very, very hard, especially being like a smaller event.
If you've done like that full fight camp and then they get there and it's just like, oh...
But that's the thing for the fighter as well. It's like, well, have I just wasted all my time?
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing ever, is if you do a full fight camp and you are ready, like you could fight King Kong, you go in, you starch the guy in like minutes or seconds, and you walk out, you're like, what's the fucking point of all that training? I haven't seen my family, my kids, I've spent all that money.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well, like when they're amateurs, you obviously spend so much money on training and stuff, because you anyway, let's talk about our
Speaking
fights.
of amateurs, we've got our guy, Jordan English, fighting your guy,
Yeah.
Louis Thornley.
Big good fight, that one as well. Both young lads, fit, do you know what I mean?
And both really early in their careers as well.
Well, they're both 2-0, aren't they?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, 2-0, aren't they?
Yeah, both 2-0.
Yeah, I think both 2-0, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be a great fight. Both different styles as well. Louis obviously got good hands. His jiu-jitsu's getting better and better. He's actually competing tomorrow at South Coast Submission, so he's sort of quietly chipping away at that.
Is that the Paristra thing?
Priest, yeah, they've got on their event a few months ago, that Budo Bashu one, which I jumped on, and then he's doing another one, which is tomorrow. We've got 3 of our guys on that. Well, actually 4. Maddie's on it as well.
So yeah, this fight is going to be Jordan English is the defending champ, bantamweight. So little people fights versus Louis, and there's always, I wouldn't say there's controversy surrounding this fight as such, but I think there's a little bit of frustration, kind of like what we were saying before. You can, it's that whole you can lead a horse to water thing. Like, we can tell the fighters, like, do this, jump through these hoops, but there's always influences and stuff. It's like I categorize people as you've got a fighter, a martial artist, or an athlete, and you're generally a little bit of some of those. And if you get a fighter, that's the person that's up at 5 a.m. running, the woman that will go into a whole room full of guys and just fight all of them, and win world titles and stuff. And yourself, you're a fighter. You'll step out of the car in the middle of the road to like fight some guy because they tooted their horn, And yeah, it does happen. But it's easy for us to say it because we're looking at it from that perspective. But then for us, we've got someone like Jordan English. He's so talented. I always say you've got 3 sections to fight. You've got your stand-up, you've got your wrestling, you've got your submissions, and you've got to tie them together. You might be a great striker, but if you can't wrestle or grapple, you're going to get found out. If you might be great at jiu-jitsu, but if you can't put the fight into an area where you can actually put that out there, then it's almost pointless. And Jordan he's not the best striker. He's not the best submission guy. He's not the best wrestler. He's kind of in the middle of everything, and it sounds like I'm shitting on him. It's not.
It's the best way to be an all-rounder, I think, MMA.
Well, here's the thing.
Way to be nowadays.
He, in my opinion,
you look like Volkanovski,
everyone we've got,
like that.
well, he ties it together better than everyone. He level changes better than everyone. He incorporates his striking and his wrestling. He will switch between those 3 so good. I don't think he appreciates how good he is at it, and I think now he's got the belt, he kind of takes his foot off the gas a little bit, and I'm like, Jordan, please, fucking...
It's time to work harder.
Let's go, because from what we've seen, like, Louis on a bit of a fucking mission, and
it's always hard to kind of, like, once you're the champ, just to stay there. Yeah. And I think, there's an element of just, like, you kind of go, oh, yeah, I got the belt, and it's just like, now what? But it's like, there's always people hungrier, younger, fitter, faster, coming up your tail, and, like, even, is it this fight, or is it the other one? Oh no, it's the Ross Wing one. So the Ross Wing and Ace Drummond one, like Ace wants to fight Frankie, but I know Ross wants to fight Frankie again. So it's like there's always someone wanting to kind of like, and Frankie did really well, obviously kind of defending his title, but again, there's still people coming for you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think
as soon as you get a belt, you got a target.
Yeah, but there's like bantamweight as well. Like bantamweight, featherweight are such popular sort of weight classes on our show. So I think there's going to be, on this one, there's going to be someone chasing whoever that winner is.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of shows planned next year. We're moving around the country a little bit. We've got a busy schedule next week, like looking at venues. And if Lou wins that belt, whether he likes it or not, he's going to have a busy year because there's a lot of people that I want the next shot. Yeah. And I mean, we've already got Alfie Bourne from Elevate. So he's basically next in line. He's like, I want that fight.
The reason he didn't get put forward was because obviously he didn't fight on the last show, and it's
Well, that's the thing. We had to
I think
kind of pick.
He wants to as well make a statement on this one. So he's fighting. Who's Alfie Bourne fighting? Remember off the top of my head now.
Some older guy.
I think it is. Yeah, one of your guys.
There's one of your guys. They're all your guys, aren't they? Like you train Louis. You train Louis and Jordan.
Yeah, I train both.
On that note, right, who's going to win then? You commentating as well?
Yeah, that's going to be.
I reckon Jordan's going to take this.
I think it's a 50-50. I think it's a good 50-50 fight.
It's going to be a good fight, yeah.
It could go either way, couldn't it? Let's be honest. It all depends on how much work.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Still on the fence.
Been done it, yeah.
How's that fence feeling,
Louis striking is
really
sharp.
Yeah, it is actually. You can't deny it. He's got very sharp striking.
Very sharp. He doesn't telegraph nothing. It's everything.
I mean, we took him up to Kent on a show. I mean, going on an away show is always, hard for a younger lad who's never done it before. So there, and he just
How old is
brilliantly. He's 20, 21 maybe.
Yeah, he's only young.
Didn't Louis? I'm sure it was his previous fight on our show. He got his face blasted open.
Yeah, his nose, yeah.
And you're like, Jesus.
He comes to the corner, me and Damon were like trying to sort his nose
but
out.
he didn't care.
He was giggling, laughing about
He
it.
didn't care.
Like, complete psycho.
I kind of looked over and I was like, oh, Jesus. And everyone's like, no,
that's when we knew
he's winning. I was
that's
like,
when we knew
ooh.
there's something about him.
Yeah, he was supposed to box
Yeah.
for me, and that's one of the main reasons why I left the gym, to be fair, because it all fell through, and I just thought, I've got to get out of it.
And he was hungry to fight then as well, because when he came to us, he was like, I just want to fight.
Yeah.
So
it's nice when you get someone like that. Little Jake's like that. He just wants to fight all the time. We did our little interview. We were doing little profiles on like the fighters and stuff. And one of the questions I was asking everyone is like, if you weren't fighting, what would you be doing? All the answers were basically like, I'd be a druggie, I'd be in prison, or in Jake's case, he goes, well, I'd still be fucking fighting, wouldn't I? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'd just be fighting. It just wouldn't be in a cage or a gym. It would just be like outside my house. And that's how he said, like, yeah, just fighting, innit? Like, fair enough. There's some people just want to fight. I think Louis strikes me as that.
He just loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah. But
Such a nice lad though, Louis, as well. I mean, he's
Yeah, he is
respectful,
really
he's
nice,
polite,
actually, yeah.
he's a good lad.
Yeah, he's
a
lovely,
really nice lad. So I just want to see him do well, and I think he will, personally.
Yeah. Then another one I wanted to just briefly touch upon is we've got Idis versus Soxy. And that's quite an interesting one. It's boxing. Idis is like Ivan Drago, and Soxy is literally the Rocky Balboa of Southampton, of the South. Soxy is a fighter. He loves
it, yeah.
Yeah, he would just walk outside his house and have a punch-up with literally anybody in the street. He wouldn't even need a reason. He would do it, but he's one of the nicest guys you'll
Very
ever
respectful
meet.
to his opponents as well, I mean, when he talks about
Yeah,
Fulton, Mo. And I think he had a recent one a few weeks ago, didn't he? Down in Portsmouth or
Yeah, he
Southampton.
did, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he got the nod on the decision, but it's not that he didn't care. He was just like, it's a fight game. He's like, win some, you lose some, and he will go out on his shield or come out with it.
I overheard him talking earlier when he was doing some filming, and he was like, the only person that ever knocked him down was Mo, and otherwise he's just like, yeah, he's there ready for a war all the time. But that's the only time he's been dropped. I held the pads for him as well. And
How was that?
He goes,
Because
obviously
you never held pads for him before, have you?
no, and I just did a few things like I was like slip, roll. He goes, we don't do that. And I was like, I don't move my head. I'm like, I can tell by your nose.
He looks like someone that's had some fights, doesn't he? But that's what makes him dangerous, though. He has got really good movement. He's got great angles. It's just what we saw was him against Mo, who has probably got the best movement and angles that you'll see of anyone.
I thought he actually looked all right against Mo.
I thought he did.
He
Do you
just
know
struggles to land a shot.
Yeah, but do you know the only thing he did wrong is when you've got someone like Mo that's like cutting angles, people get worried.
They try and
and
chase him.
they will throw shots. Mo will be slipping, and what people do is they follow their head, and if they follow their head will go left, and this shot will carry behind.
Sound like Sam Hammerstein did with him years ago. Very similar to
Exactly.
that.
Sam was like this, gunning there, and they went bink. Now, I know it's like, oh, it's easy to say. It's like when you're sitting on your sofa at home telling the football team how to play football. Easy. We've all got
Just
the answers when we're there.
I've hit Mo once and his eyes watered. Just like, I was like, are you crying? He's like, no. I was like,
I'm gonna
I did catch him.
phone him up in a minute. I'm gonna tell him that.
he did
like-
make me pay afterwards though. Probably dropped me with a body
Yeah,
shot.
do you know what? I've noticed that as well. Like, when we've sparred, I'm like the thing is, you don't really spar nice. I've had like shots whiz by and I'm like, fucking hell, Nat. I'm like, if that hit me, I'm hitting the deck. Like, chill out. And you're like, whatever. And then just carries on throwing bombs. So it puts you in a position like, I got a chinner in a minute. I'm like, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and I'm going to be forced to fucking lay around. If anyone sees this, they're going to be like, what are you doing? Mo doesn't give a fuck. Like, I've seen him drop
oh
you
my
so
God.
many times.
Yeah, so
And laughs about
this
it,
is
like-
when we say about my speech impediment. It's completely down to Mo hitting me so freaking hard. But it's not just a face. He dropped me with a body shot so many times, and he'd be like, "Come on in, you're gonna get up," and I'm like, "God, breathe."
On the flip side, though, although I think that's nice because he doesn't treat anybody any differently, but as kind of mean as you might say is in the changing room. Do you remember when you were pregnant with twins and you were doing cartwheels and, oh my God, did you get a bollocking? He came in, woman, what are you doing? Oh, he is proper like big brother to Nat, and I've never seen you like, you were like a whooped puppy, like, I'm really sorry, Mo.
Well,
And
because
then
he's
when
the
you
only
tried-
one that I'd like, if you know, when he was coaching me, like if he said something, I would shut up and listen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the same guy that would slap me when I didn't do what I was told. So, you know, in front of hundreds of people.
Could you do that now?
Definitely not.
I don't think you could, away, could you?
Can't do anything then.
Yeah, but yeah, so to go back to the Idis versus Soxy, they both requested it, the fight at heavyweight. I was like, you don't fancy cutting weight? They're like, nah, can't be asked. They didn't want to. Very resilient. It's going to be an interesting one because, I mean, you have to obviously lean towards Idis. He's bigger, stronger, he's a big, powerful dude.
Younger as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but Soxy's a dog, and he's like a demo. If you don't knock him out, he's gonna keep coming.
Well,
You've only got to land that shot
he's
once.
still training with all the youngsters and stuff, and he's he's up at 5 a.m. doing it. He's there till 8 p.m.
His work ethic is
doing
incredible.
It. Yeah,
It's
and
amazing.
like, you know, he has a real physical job, so he's up early training and like
But it
training
never
himself to another
deters him.
people, and then
You-
he's
But here's the thing, you
hard
never
job
hear him
and do
go,
the same
I'm too
thing.
tired to train or anything like that.
No.
And like, I mean, like, how do you guys do it, like balancing it? And how do you deal with, this is one thing I wanted to just go over as well, is I call it the Ricky Hatton effect. When you stop fighting, you see a lot of fighters go off the rails, they just turn to alcoholics that do loads of cocaine. Because they're like, what do they do? Now, you were just in the cage fight and you were Greg the fighter, you were Natalie Queen B, like, you know, world title, everything. But then, like, when you stop fighting, you got to put the other hat on. We got kids, you got families, you got jobs, you got to mix it all up, you got to do the school run, and it's like, I mean, it sounds like maybe, like, now you're so busy, it kind of fills the gaps.
Yeah, I have to be busy to sort of take away that. I mean, I look forward to my sessions. I used to look forward to my sessions. When I was training with you now, every Saturday, it was fucking hard. Do you know what I mean? I hated it, but I enjoyed doing it. And then now, for the last 12 months, I have struggled a little bit with it. Like, quite, I mean, that's where the Gorilla team, that's what started during COVID. And then obviously Damo, obviously me and him getting together, back together again and doing it together. It's it sort of filled that hole that was there. And obviously the grappling events, doing them now as well. Like, I'm doing pretty well with that and enjoying it. And just the coaching, obviously seeing the lads, obviously pushing them a little bit. And I think I think I get too invested with my guys sometimes.
It's hard not to, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because I remember there was a coach that a while ago told me that, don't get so invested in your guys. I was like thinking to myself, I want to be invested in them.
It's a sense of reward, though, when they do actually win.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you know, people make out of me like in the corner, like I'm so loud and everything.
Oh my God, you're loud.
It shows you're passionate for your guys.
Exactly.
You want them to win.
It's like, I'm in there with you.
Yeah,
I'm, you know, and I get frustrated when you get frustrated when they're not doing what you wanted to. Well,
and afterwards, when they lose, like, I mean, like seeing like young Ryan, I remember when Ryan lost to Rackley, like, he was devastated. So I feel like I've let you down, mate. You haven't let me down at all. I said, if anything, I'm more inspired by you now. I said, you've proven you can get in there. I mean, you took the fight, you didn't question it. You got in there and you stood toe to toe with him for 3 rounds. You gave him the hardest fight he's probably ever had.
Do you ever just look him dead in the eye and go, nah, you just let yourself down? I've never actually said that, by the way.
The best advice I ever got was when I started coaching. It was Matty Turner. I said, I got this lad at the gym. He's so talented. He's really good. He's sporadic with his training. He's not really putting the work in, but he's just so talented. It's just really hard to try and get him coming all the time. He went, forget him, mate. He said, who comes all the time? Who gives you 100% every session? Put your time in with them. They'll be the champions of the future.
Yeah, you're right.
They're just no ones then. They'll come and go.
It's absolutely right, because we've got lads like that, and every week I'm putting the same message in the group, the same things every week, like, make these sessions do, it's only for your benefit. But when they don't, it's like,
sounds like our group.
come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Apart from there's a lot more barking.
And it's only because like you do, like, you've learned on the job. So, I mean, I wish I did that more back then. I wish I did this.
Yeah, it's the same with Marauders
stuff
as
like
well.
that. I just don't want them to make the same mistakes like me and Damo made.
Gone my route, they're never going to appreciate it because they're not going to. And sometimes I think it's silly for me to expect people to. They didn't go the same route that I did, so why would they appreciate anything that I'm telling them? You don't understand how important it is to block until you've been punched in the face.
Everything's on a plate for him now. Do you know what I mean? This gym, do you know what I mean? Like our place. I mean, everything's on a plate.
Dude, I wish I had this. Oh my God.
I used to train in a badminton court. We used to spar once a week at the Bulldogs. They had a ring, and then the rest of it we'd be sparring in the badminton court.
The first time I ever been in a ring was when I actually got to Bulldog.
Yeah, same here. I never had a heavy bag.
First time I was ever in a
heavy
ring
bag
was on Carl Sam's show when I was getting beaten up, and I was like, oh, this is all right. I leant against the ropes, like, ooh.
I think you got me ready at Primitive, didn't you? In that tiny little ring on those mats.
Yeah.
I was just literally just sparring, and we used to use the square, the serving square in the badminton court, and that was your rope.
We used to do that. We were like, there's the boundaries. You know, when you're a kid and you make your football pitch. We were like that, but yeah, this is the ring.
And then you get in the ring, you think, oh, this is a bit different. There's ropes and stuff.
But how do you two deal with the not fighting? What do you do with your time? How do you?
I think if we didn't have this place and I've got the shows and stuff, I don't think, it would have been a lot harder, because it's like fighting without fighting. I mean, I don't get to train half as much as I'd want to, and obviously my body wouldn't be able to now after 4 kids, but...
Yeah, I found
you miss it every day, though, don't you?
It took me about 10 years of getting the shows and not like wanting to get back in. But I'm not too... I'm all right now, obviously. I'm getting old, I'm 50 nearly, so... I am 50, but yeah, I just love teaching and still being heavily involved in the fight game. I think if I wasn't, then I'd be a lot worse. It sounds a bit cliche at the moment. It's even like the mental health side of it.
Yeah.
If I don't hit something at least 2 times a week, I'll probably be a psychopath killer or
We
something.
spoke about that yesterday, didn't we?
I have to unleash the beast every now and then.
I find it quite amusing how me and Justin will voice note each other a lot, which is also quite interesting because like we've literally got our guys fighting each other and everything, and it's like we're both doing our tactics. We've both got our different gyms, different teams, and it's like we should be competition, but we're on the phone all the fucking time, and like we'll voice note each other, and I laugh at the fact that he'll be whinging about something or tell me about how he's got out of his car to go fucking punch some guy or something, or something's happened, and it sounds like my day, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm
You should have like a serious chat, then you'll be like, oh, hang on a minute, because you're talking to your kid.
Yeah.
Your kid's trying to
Oh
grab
God,
or do
yeah.
something.
It's like talking to someone that's like got multiple personalities. Yeah.
But I've never
But I'm
really
like, I'm just
stopped.
glad it's not me. And when I hear you having like a terrible time, I'm like, thank fuck for that. When he's trying to balance something, he's fighting with his kids or like chasing one down the road or something. How many times been outside your house and you're literally having to run down the road to grab a kid and you're like, for fuck's sake. And I'm like,
I think the way I dealt with it the most is I never really stopped, to be honest. I haven't fought since 2004, so it's a long, long time, but I've never actually stopped. I've never been a coach that just stands there with a stick, do that, you should do that. I like the
yeah,
Levi's.
you're in your class all the time. I like that.
You've got the gloves on and you're like, you're in
Me
there.
and Damon try and do with our guys because I think it's good for them to be training with like Damon. I mean, I enjoy like, mixing up with the boys.
I
and
do,
running around.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's good.
I'll say I'm 50 next month, and I'd probably do 25, 30 rounds a week sparring still. And
It's
get
good because
involved.
you're
It's
showing
good.
obviously what you're teaching. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get Greg versus Mo, the same age. Same weight.
Mo's like 60, was he?
He's 54.
And I'm just saying that because I know he's gonna. No, isn't he like 52? I don't think he's 50. I was taking
Does
a
anyone
piss,
know?
I think no one really knows, do they?
Hey, hold on,
He's
you
just
didn't
gonna
know how
fight
old you
forever.
were. I remember having that conversation. He lost a whole year.
Mo just doesn't change. I've known Mo for 20 years.
Yeah,
as
but at least you
well.
went the right way, didn't you?
Just
Didn't
doesn't
you?
see- it
Didn't you?
doesn't change.
Yeah. Did your parents not correct you?
I don't know if anyone spoke to him about it. My brother that corrected me on it. Yeah, it was my brother that told me. So.
I know age is a big thing, but I think if you look after yourself like Mo, and like you say, he's the not stopping thing. He's never.
You say that. He smokes a lot of weed and drinks more energy drinks than I've ever seen a
And
person.
he has a, was it brandy a night with the...
Yeah. But he's also, when he's not shouting at people though, but when he's not shouting at people, he's so chilled. And you wouldn't think he's Mr. De-stress because he's always shouting at people. That's in a training environment. Maybe that is a bit of his outlook because he's got passion, but he's passionate about what he does and he's Mr. Chill. Like, he doesn't care. If we asked Mo to be here for this, he would be arriving now and he'd just walk in like, you all right? Do you remember we set up a photo shoot for him once? He was so late, they'd packed up and fucked off. The photographers left, they had gone. And then he's like, hey, I'm outside, where are you?
Like, Jordan.
Yeah, we're like, it might have been, it might have been Jordan. But he was like 2 hours late. And we're like, where are you? And he was like, I was just busy doing some things. And I'm like, God damn. But I think he's going to outlive all of us because of that attitude. But yeah, on the note, kids, we got to go collect ours. So should we wrap that up then? Let's all do one.